Hi guys, happy Thursday. It's Mrs. Martin here with my trusty sidekick Maple, say hi. Okay, we are going to go over our lesson for Thursday pretty quick. You are going to be reviewing in your warm-up for figurative language with simile, metaphor, personification, and hyperbole. Hyperbole is the only one that we haven't gone over this week, so there is a refresher down below. Hyperbole, when a statement is exaggerated, not to be taken seriously. That's the one that you guys have a little more fun with. So your example is, I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. So as we go down, what you're going to do is you are just simply going to bold over. So remember, you highlight the letter and then you hit that B. If you're doing it on a piece of paper, just write your answer down with your number and the letter on it, okay? So number 1, after the dentist, my teeth were as bright as snow on Christmas Day. So I see that as, my teeth were as bright as snow. So I know that that is a figurative language. So I know with this, I'm thinking personification. Did it get some kind of human trait? No. Is it a metaphor? Is it comparing two things? It is. But is it using like or as? Yes. So we know it's not metaphor. Hyperbole, it's not exaggerating anything. It is simile. Now, guys, this is where it gets confusing with simile and metaphor, or simile and hyperbole. You could have said, yeah, they're exaggerating. Her teeth are as white as snow. There's no way her teeth are as white as snow. But because it uses like or as, that's what makes it a simile. A hyperbole will not do that, okay? It'll just simply exaggerate. Okay, here's the next one. The air ran through my hair as I rode my bike. The air ran through my hair as I rode my bike. So in your head, you're thinking, are they using like or as? Are they comparing two things? Are they exaggerating? Are they giving something a human trait that can't have a human trait? So personification, metaphor, hyperbole, or simile. I'm going to post these answers during office hours so that you're able to see if you got them right or wrong, okay? Number 3, the hot tea was a Band-Aid protecting my scratchy throat. The hot tea was a Band-Aid. Personification, metaphor, hyperbole, simile. Number 4, you studied all night and day for that test. Number 5, my car keys jumped into the ignition as I sped away in the car. Number 6, waking my dad up in the morning is like waking a sleeping bear. Number 7, the toaster eagerly threw me 2 pieces of toast. Okay, so today, 8th grade did a survey a few days ago with Miss Gratz. Some of you did. Thank you for those answers. And we saw that some of you wanted more practice with theme or thought like, you're pretty good with theme, but you enjoyed it and maybe you just wanted to see it some more on some lessons. And I know that 7th grade, we've worked on it quite a bit, but we can always use more practice with theme. So it's just going to be a little more rigorous and with our dark they were. So our aim for today is you will be able to read closely to determine the theme of a text. Let's look at the notes in what we know about theme. Now, 7th grade, some of these are going to be a little new to you, which is good. It's just preparing you for 8th grade, which is exactly what we need to do. We need to be ready for the next grade when we come back to school. And we always want to keep pushing ourselves to be working a little bit harder. 8th grade, these themes and motives that we're about to see, those are things you're going to be doing probably day 1 when you go into your English classes in high school. You're going to be reading very tough texts that have these motives, and we need to understand how to find them and turn them into themes. Okay, so take a look at these notes. Theme, the life lesson or deeper meaning in a story that can connect to every person, everywhere, no matter when or where they lived. Remember, we like to say theme is universal, right? Anywhere I go in the world, any story I read, all of that, anyone's life, this should be able to apply to it. Now, 8th grade, this is a review for you. 7th grade, this is brand new. We have things called motives. Those are subjects that reappear, possibly in different forms throughout a work of literature. but they reappear. You're going to see things that keep repeating, okay? And you're going to know, oh, that must be like a theme per se. Now, we know when we write theme statements that theme statements are not just one word, right? It's not just like love, okay? But with these motifs, they are going to be one word that repeat over and over throughout the story. You're not just going to keep seeing love, 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 but it's like an idea of that love or the idea of a certain subject that reappears. And then you're going to know, oh, that's an overall like type of theme that I can turn into a bigger theme statement if I get some evidence and things like that I need. So some of these subjects that you're going to see with these motifs are emotions, ideas, situations, character types, objects, settings, okay? Now, how do we determine the theme? Now, this is going back a little bit of more review because it really gets you to those theme statements. So first you identify the problem, you identify the solution, or as we know, not every problem has a solution in a story. You have to think what happened after the story, what happened after the problem, okay? And then that turns into what lesson did the character learn? If you're able to identify the lesson that the character learned, hi Pat, you can turn it into a theme statement. Maybe needed to change a scenery. Okay. So now, wouldn't this be great, guys, if we could just have her in the classroom every day? Look how cute she is. Okay, so you want to stay on the camera? Don't lick my face. Okay. So when you are determining the theme, you need to think what ideas or events keep happening or reappearing, okay? And that's going to get you close to that motive, which is the subject that keeps reappearing. So as we're reading Dark They Were in Goldeneye, as we're seeing that, think about, is there like a certain subject or something that keeps happening or that Mr. Bittering is talking about? Maybe when we first see things like change. See if that comes up. So then what lesson could the author be trying to communicate to everyone based off the ideas or events? And then how could I write this lesson in the form of a theme statement that communicates a different meaning? Okay, remember, theme statements are universal, okay? It is not specific to this story. So a theme should not be about Martians because that is very specific to only this story. A theme could be about overall change or how people are reluctant to change, and then that could apply to more stories, okay? So let's take a look at our model. This one's definitely going to be more of a repeat that you have seen before, and it's going to be a lot easier than what we're going to do with the story that we've been reading all week. So let's take a look. It is still very, very important, as always. We are annotating the text, okay? You always annotate. You always go back to find evidence. Those are things you have to do every single time you read in order to get these questions correct. So, in his sophomore year of high school, Michael Jordan tried out for the varsity basketball team at Laney High School in Wilmington, North Carolina. So I'm just going to annotate on my paper. Michael Jordan, what did he do? He was trying out for his varsity basketball team. And I'm just going to annotate that on my text. Remember, you can do this on your computer by bolding the name and by using the underline button to underline your evidence when you're annotating, just like we did with our story on Monday. But at 5 feet and 11 inches tall, the coach believed that Jordan was too short to play at that level, so Jordan was cut from the team. That's also important. He was cut from the team. Jordan didn't let this obstacle defeat him. Again, very important. He didn't let it defeat him. In fact, it pushed him to work even harder. He trained vigorously and grew another 4 inches. So what I did, guys, is I am annotating things, and especially like we did with our story, we're annotating for steal, okay? So I'm doing things like he was cut from the team, but he didn't let that defeat him. It made him work even harder. Those are telling me things about his character. When he finally made the varsity squad, Jordan averaged 25 points a game and went on to become one of the greatest basketball players in history. So I'm going to underline he went to become one of the greatest basketball players in history. And also that he finally made the varsity squad. Okay, because that's telling us a little bit about him. So what is the problem? The problem is I'm going to put MJ. MJ was cut from the b-ball team. These are just your notes, so I don't need complete sentences, okay? I am just going to write it just like this in the problem. You should be able to type right into the Google Doc. Remember, guys, I've been seeing a lot of people that are just turning in blank Google Docs for some reason. If it's not letting you type into it and like turn it in, then you need to do it on a separate piece of paper so that I see that you're doing the work. What was the solution to that? Or what did he do because of the problem? I don't just want to be simple here and say, he made the team. Why did he make that team? Okay, yes, him making the team is part of the solution, but how did he make that team? So, in focusing only on his height is not the only reason he made that team, right? Kids, like, classes get really hung up on that point because they said that his coach cut him because he was kind of short to play at that level. That's not the only reason. Just because he grew doesn't mean that he is good at basketball now. So our solution is that I'm going to put MJ worked harder and he grew, right? Because that is still part of it. And I'm going to say, and eventually made the team. So that is my solution that I'm putting in here. Okay. Now, what was my lesson learned? Is my lesson learned, oh, well, if you grow 5 inches, you'll make the varsity basketball squad. No. Based off of his problem that he was cut from the team and how he handled that problem, that he worked harder, what is my lesson learned that I'm learning there? So my lesson is that don't give up, right? Don't give up on your dreams. Don't let an obstacle keep you down, things like that. Okay, so I'm going to say, let's put that together. Don't let obstacles keep you from your dreams. So now what I'm going to do with this lesson learned, this is not specific to this, this is not specific to the story, right? This could work in several different stories. But we're going to go down and we're going to look at our theme and see if we have one that kind of matches what we put over here, okay? So let's take a look. What is the theme of the passage? Now remember, it's also important that you are annotating the question. So I'm looking for theme. I'm going to circle theme in there. Now you can't circle on your computer, but when you're doing this, you should be bolding what you're looking for in your questions so that you know. A, Michael Jordan worked hard and persevered through many struggles. Okay, true. But is that too specific? I have a specific name in there, right? So that might mean that it's too specific. Can I take this and apply it to myself about Michael Jordan working hard? No, I cannot, because Michael Jordan is not a part of my life, right? I can't take that lesson and apply it to my life. B, if you really want something, you have to work for it, and you can achieve your dreams. Okay, did he want something? Yes. What did he want? He wanted to make the basketball team. You have to work for it. Did he work for it? Yes. We put that right into our solution that he worked harder, right? And then you can achieve your dreams. And we actually put that into our lesson. His dream was to make that team, and that's what he did. So we're going to put a dot. I'm going to put a dot next to B like we normally do. Guys, I'm going to model like I would for you in class so that when you go back to class, you're not forgetting these test-taking strategies and things like that. It's obviously a little more difficult for you on the computer, but that's okay. Just do whatever you can to try and mark these questions up. So C, always try your best when you are trying to make a team or play a sport. So yeah, Michael Jordan did try his best. Is saying when you're trying to make a team or play a sport, does that apply to everyone's life? No. Lots of people don't play sports. If it didn't add that part in there, like always try your best when you want to achieve your dreams, sure, that would have been great, right? I could use that in my life. But right now I'm not trying to make a team or play a sport, and so that does not apply to me. So I'm going to cross out C. And then D, never let someone else put you down. Okay, again, not specific. This could this could be a universal theme, but did someone really put him down? Not really, right? He just didn't make the team. He wasn't really put down. That's not the main thing that we're focusing on. So I'm going to cross out D, and I'm going to go back to B and circle it. So on your computer, you could bold that, okay? And there's my answer. All right, here is your next practice that I want you to do on your own, and we can go over during office hours. Remember, 7th grade, you are 10 to 10:15. 8th grade, you are 10:15 to 10:30. You go on. I think you guys can all see each other. We can say hey, and we can go over the things that we missed. So we're going to do a little bit of independent practice together, a little more independent practice, and then your exit ticket. So go ahead and track practice number 2, the crow and the pitcher. Some of you might be familiar with this story. So I'm going to read it. You're going to write down your problem, your solution, and what the lesson learned was, and then you're going to circle your theme. A crow perishing with thirst saw a pitcher, and hoping to find water, flew to it with the light. When he reached it, he discovered to his grief that it contained so little water that he could not possibly get at it. So meaning he couldn't, the water was really low, he couldn't get to it. Make sure that you are annotating in here, guys. If you have a character, it should be bolded. You have things that are happening, they should be underlined, important information. He tried everything he could think of to reach the water, but all of his efforts were in vain. I'm having a hard time reading today. At last, he collected as many stones as he could carry and dropped them one by one with his beak into the pitcher until he brought the water within his reach and thus saved his life. So he stacked stones inside of it, and you know, like just when you put ice in a cup, it makes the water rise. So the stones made the water rise, okay? So go ahead and write down your problem, solution, lesson learned. I'm going to read over this theme part, and then you can always rewind if you need more time to write in your boxes, because I want to see that you are typing these in on your Google Doc. So what is the theme of this passage? If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. B, nobody is perfect. C, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. D, physical activity will help you when you least expect it. All right, I'm going to pause the video there for you to do this first independent practice, and then we're going to come back and work with our short story. See you in a second.